everyone, welcome back. Okay, so this is the last bass exercise in Homie, Sweet Homie Sweet. This is called Homie the Fifth. So why did I put this one in here? Because there were so many fifths popping up in some music that we were playing, and kids just didn't understand how to navigate the fifth. And I'll talk more about this in violin, viola, and cello because it'll apply more. Basses are tuned in fourths, so they're not actually playing a fifth because our strings are 4 notes apart. But I wanted to write an exercise that the entire orchestra could play and still have to navigate this idea of playing notes across strings. Okay, so when you have to play notes that are directly horizontal to each other, you have to do one of two things. Either you pick up your finger and you hop it over, or on some of the other instruments you can do some other things where you can block both strings with your finger, which I'll talk about in the other videos. But for this one, for bass, obviously the strings are so thick you couldn't possibly, there are some bass players who do block both strings like this. I generally try to avoid that if possible because then it leads to really bad bass technique. So we really want this idea of picking up and hopping over, and again, you know, eventually bass players will be blocking strings, especially when they get to electric bass. But you know, I like to try and stay as perfect as possible in playing technique. So I'm going to teach them the perfect right way, and then they're going to break the rule later. Okay, so one of my favorite pieces, I absolutely love Copland. So this is an excerpt from Copland's Hoedown. And I just took a little section. Copland's music tends to have a lot of fifths in it because it's American classic, you know, like rodeo, or just that general sound that Copland associated with the American heritage. And so it pops up in that genre. So that's why I took this little excerpt and I wrote it out for all the instruments, and just sort of modified the bass for a little bit. So the basses are going to do it a little bit, but then they're going to go back into first position. So we're going to start in fourth position. We're just going to do that little hop right there. It's not perfect, but you know, it gets them the idea. And then here we're going to shift on the open string. And right there I did a tunnel. Kept my fingers down and made a tunnel so that we could play on the open G, and then the rest of it's in first position. So here it is with the metronome. We're not going to go that fast. And again, this is not totally about velocity. We could get it faster just for fun, but it's more about this idea of kids hopping over the string. And I tell them, like, you know, pretend there's a pool or a lake in between those two strings that you've got to hop over. Here we go. Okay, have fun with Homie the Fifth. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.